I've been doing the radio show for several years and talking to some just wonderful people, just all on the cutting edge of various aspects of the awakening process. And you mentioned the Ascension in 2012. I feel like it's all kind of leading to a singularity or a point where something will shift. Is that what the 9 are telling us?
Yes, exactly. It is definitely leading to a point or a singularity. And they're telling me that is really what is happening. That isn't just a metaphoric feeling, although it is metaphoric, it is really happening. And I believe there are many scientists or astrologers talking about this move back to the galactic center, the center of the Milky Way.
Yeah.
That didn't come from the 9. I just researched that, but it backs up what the 9 says. But how they explained things to me, and this was very bizarre how this happened. I was actually lying in bed. I couldn't sleep. It was very early in the morning. It was about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up, and there was just like this energy of words sitting there in my head. And this isn't always how channeling comes to me. This is quite rare. Channeling normally comes to me when I link in and ask a question and then they come forward. But this was an entire piece of channeling, an entire channeled material just hanging in my head. And do you know, Zany, I could not go back to sleep. I had to get up and had to release it. If I didn't release it from that place in my head, I just wouldn't have been able to function. And what came through was the video I released that's called Returning to the Core of the Spiral in 2012. And that's where they showed me that we are actually in a spiral going round and round and round and round. And then there's this point. And that point is aligning with the 21st of December 2012. And everything is kind of speeding up. As we're going into this spiral, it's like our circles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go forward to this point. And then there'll be this shift, and then we are coming out the other side.
Wow.
And what's actually happened is the spiral we're in now as we go towards this point has already been written, and there are all these timelines that the 9 can see. When we shift into coming out the other side, that, again, on a higher level, that has been written, but from our perspective, that's not been written, and the 9 have not seen that. That's all like new territory where we create it with our consciousness. And we merge, at the point of reaching this core, we merge with our higher dimensional selves. The 9 will merge with us, the extraterrestrial galactic family. We're merging with them at that point. Whatever that may mean, however you interpret that, the 9 show me this merging, and also they show me a swapping over. Something will swap. I feel possibly time and space will flip over, or possibly dream time and what we know as awake time will flip, but it's definitely a shift from what we know as 3rd density through 4th into 5th density. That's what they tell me.
Wow. I wonder...
It's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, this maps over what, all the Mayan scholars have been talking about, too. In fact, somebody was just mentioning this in the group that, the Mayans talk about the spiral. It's not a circle, it's a spiral, and it's tightening or getting more closer to the core, just as you said. And that nobody knows what happens when all of this kind of blinks off for a moment. It's kind of like the Hindus explain this as God, for trillions of years, experiences one, this variety of experiences, and then for a moment on the stage, as he's turning around, he blinks out momentarily, and nobody knows, not even the heavenly realms or the angelic realms, know what happens because it's never happened before.
That's correct. I mean, it is really complicated when you start getting into this higher multidimensional place they show me, and I get to the point sometimes where I simply don't have words to describe what I see. But what they show me is, on the highest level from that of the source, everything has already been decided.
Yeah.
But going down the frequency somewhat, from our perspective and from the nine's perspective, where they are in sixth density moving into seventh, the timelines are available for the nine to see. But they can't see the timelines after the shift because that's all yet to be created.
Yeah.
So although everything has already been created, the one source has given us the opportunity to create as he does, or she does, or the source does.
Right.
So this is what's happening to us. We are now able to create just like the one source, because of course we are the one source. We are the one source from a different dimensional perspective. Each and every one of us are the one source. I mean, I haven't really researched the Mayan culture very much. I touched on it lightly, and I saw somebody recently on television speak about the Mayan culture, and the things that he was saying was completely in resonance with that which the nine has told me. I have to say, I have done research. I do like to research and back up what the nine tell me. But the majority of the things I've learned have come from my communications with the nine.
Now, you're able to retain all that information when you get the information, don't you? I mean, some channels, they go into a trance and they don't know what they say or what they did or what they wrote, but you're able to hold on to that information and absorb it, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yes and no. Sometimes I will release something in written form, and I don't really remember. I am in a kind of a trance state when I'm doing the deep automatic writing, and sometimes I don't remember exactly what I've written. So it's not really a case of retaining everything consciously.
Right.
It's just that if somebody asks me a question, then it's kind of like the information instantly comes back to the forefront of my mind and I'm able to recall it. I guess that's how all our memories work, really. But yes and no. I'm not really in a trance, but there is definitely an altered state of consciousness, and I have memory, but it's not clarity, because I do feel that there is this change in consciousness when I'm doing the channeling. It's like a white mist that swirls around me. And my memory and my perception is not exactly the same as it is in the total waking state. It's just very marginally different.
Interesting. Let's see, I'm just going to review some of the things I had jotted down as notes. So the nine has an elegant sense of humor.
Yes, they do.
They
do, and to be honest, I didn't think that was coming across, because I have to be honest, I have kept a lot of their humor out of my material, because I feel that as I deliver messages, it's quite serious.
Yeah.
But the nine tell me it's not. It's actually not serious, and we all should be laughing and being humorous and having fun about this. But they are very funny. I mean, the nine will have me laughing so much, but I haven't brought that much humor in, and it was only recently when I introduced fellow channel Zingdad, who released the material that his sources from Adamu, when I saw how much humor he brought into his material, and I thought, well, the nine are similar, but I kind of don't always bring that forward. All the jokes they make, I think, do people really want to hear all these jokes? So some of the humor with the nine is kind of subtle, but you've obviously picked that up, and you're the first person to say that, so I'm pleased.
Well, I encourage you to allow some of that humor through, because it actually feels like a higher, it's a higher energy humor. It's hard to put your finger on it.